Hello, everyone, and welcome to the United Network. This is a very special and urgent update today. I am here with, of course, my partner in crime and also my boss at times, is Miss Kimberly Ann Goguen. And we're going to break down to you today exactly how global martial law actually works. Now, this is very important because the State of the Union, and by the Union in this case, I'm talking about the entire Union of the world. So we're going to discuss the step-by-step because obviously we are in very perilous and somewhat terrifying times if you don't know what's going on, and possibly even more terrifying if you do know what's going on. So with that in mind, Mrs. Possible, where do you want to begin?
Well, many of you may or may not, and I apologize again for the quality. They're really trying to not let this happen. So if you remember, and I brought this sheet with me today, there was a long sheet of paper. I don't think people realize how big it really is, that I had distributed out through the Speak Project Network and a number of other places. So this piece of paper is around 6 feet long, and at the top it lists, I'm sorry, it's all torn, it's been around the world, but this piece of paper lists what happens, what the global martial law plan is. So for those of you that don't know, they tried to implement global martial law back in World War II, right? We've had global martial law technically for 16,000 years, but they were trying to bring global martial law to the face front in World War II, I should say, right? So then they revised that plan in 1975 and added a bunch of other features to it. But I think it's important because everybody's talking about troops moving everywhere in every single country in the world. Nobody knows what's going on. And as I understand it, this is a preparation for global martial law. So if you missed last week's Life Force meeting, it's important to catch that because the Space Force had announced their plans to introduce global Luciferianism, right? It was the Luciferian plan. COVID was all a part of it. There's been a number of other people that have spoken about this plan, not just ourselves. And it's come out recently. They're talking about blackouts and internet blackouts and a lot of different things right now. And a lot of these things can be scary. So let's talk about the real story behind global martial law and where does that put the Space Force, or now as we are calling it at the GIA, we're now calling the Space Force the Waste of Space Force.
Right.
Yeah.
So okay. So basically, the plan you just tried to lay out. Now, it got a little fuzzy on my end, so I can imagine that's what they're going to do. Now, anybody who wants to see that plan in a little bit more detail, you can go to speakproject.net, and on there is the actual plan. We're also going to create the exact same plan. We're going to rebuild it on lifeforce.global or unitednetwork.or unn.today. We're going to put it out there so that you can actually go through and see how it worked. We finally figured out how to do this. We've been talking about it for a while, but we've just been so busy. So we're going to put it out there. But this is the Sun Tzu circle, right? Sun Tzu, the art of war. Many people have probably heard of that. Now, Kim actually worked with the originators of this plan when she accepted her position as the guardian or the comptroller of the global assets. So in this, you have global martial law, which has been in place for 16,500 years. And in our lifetime, it's never felt more real, I wouldn't think, than right now, as people are being locked down and various other things. So from here, Kim.
And they are preparing for global martial law.
Right.
Well, first of all, if you have the definition of martial law available while I'm starting to write up this, we should probably read this to the people so people understand the legal definition of what martial law actually does. There's a lot of talk on the internet right now about people who are saying that we're going to declare martial law and Trump's going to become president again. But what does that really do for the entire world when it is global martial law? Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah, so global martial law would be military government. It's a military government involving the suspension of ordinary law. So other laws don't apply, just military law, right? That's what the actual definition reads.
Okay, which none of us have. unless you were in the military.
No.
And
It's
in
also
any country.
also the law applied in occupied territories by the military authority of the occupying power. Now that seems a little more appropriate to me, actually, that we're really in an occupation type of state, right? You've got these foreign agents that have occupied the space where the people should be allowed to be free. So we've been under martial law. So explain that and kind of start this.
Okay, on March 21st, 2020, so it's been nearly a year now, the deep state military sector declared global martial law. We talked about this before, but I need to tell you what it really means and what it means to us today, because today is a momentous day, and we're going to make some very serious announcements as we get on further in the explanation. So on this particular day, it was March, declared global martial law, and then they all sat at their terminals waiting for money to come out, because normally money would have come out to fund the war. So I waited 3 days and I didn't answer. And then finally on the third day, I said, General Kimberly Ann Goguen reporting for duty. How can I assist you? And so the Germans were the only one that sent me a reply and said, is this you, Kimberly? And I said, well, yes, it is. And then no one ever called back after that. So the reason why this is the case, okay, so we're still under global martial law, as they have declared themselves. But who did they declare war against? If there's a war, right, you have to have a war. And if we are under global martial law, which comes after war has been declared, who did they declare war against? Well, in March, it was semi-clear, but it's become abundantly clear over the last year that the militaries of the world have declared war against us, the people, and all the other inhabitants of planet Earth.
So that's a pretty heavy claim. So global martial law in this case, it certainly would be an attack on the people. It's something we see everywhere. It's the people that were locked down, the people's businesses run out, people that have been forced to go along with specific guidelines and mask regulations, people that are forced to be vaccinated. I mean, it's very clear this is a war against the people, and it's every place in the world, and that would include all of the living beings on the planet. So they started
correct
the war, and they started a reason
right, and then
to have war.
Then most recently, what happened is the Space Force made a declaration as the Guardians, right, with a clause inside that award or whatever you want to call it, declaring them basically the military over the militaries of the world. So every nation's military. So the Space Force over recent days has been moving fast and furious with their new authority to ensure that we can declare global martial law in the news, right? In face front. And I apologize, they're trying to make me not visible here, so sorry about that. But as long as you can hear what I'm saying, that's the most important thing. So under the global martial law structure, the reason why they called what's called, every country has it, an AVILP4 system. That is the line that they would have normally called to get the funding for the war. So who were they in fact dialing? Do they even know? They were calling the general commander in charge. So since that person is no longer here, that person is me, right? I'm the only one on the other line. So that's who you called. So here we go. So under the global martial law plan, we have the Sun Tzu wheel in the middle, right? So in the Sun Tzu wheel, in the center here, we had 3 parties. These would be Enki and and Marduk, okay? This is how it was. This is not how it is. And then in this next section out here, you would have 21 parents. And then in the next section out here, you would have 42 Coven Masters. Okay. Then in the next section out there, you would have Coven Councils. Okay. Now, none of these people involved here are military at all. Okay. These are all, most of these people we would consider not people. Okay. When you get down to the Coven level, you have like the Mothers of Darkness. You have, this is the position that Hillary Clinton was promoted to before her recent death. So
wow.
These are the ones that weave the black magic. They draw in the demons or negative spirits or negative others, and this helps them command the armies, right? Okay, this is the way it was. Well, these people are gone. These people are gone, no longer influencing here, and I believe we may have one more coven left. Okay, so now below them, you have this big section full of initials. Okay, so this is directly below them. You would have had an entire fleet, not U.S. military, not the Space Force, not the Secret Space Force as it may have been called before. You would have had a whole other fleet. Well, this whole other fleet recognizes me as Ground Command. We've done many operations together recently and in the past. Do you have a question?
Yeah, so let me make sure I understand it. So, under global martial law previously, the way it would have worked is there was someone else who sat in your position, who they essentially worshipped as a god, who was the absolute general of the entire planet. He was considered and referred to in many historical documents as the King of Kings, right? So he was the main guy, the military dictator of the entire world, and he would have had command of an entire other fleet. So when they declare martial law, they think, or they expect, they would have the support of an entire other fleet. So when they declare martial law, they think, or they expect, they would have the support of this other fleet. But in fact, that fleet answers to Ground Command, which is your official title. You are the ground commander for this group. Is that correct?
Correct. And several months back, you may remember the new Space Force came and visited with the others, right, in the fleet, and wanted their assistance and cooperation, and they were explained that we're now under the restoration plan, and they got the full details of the restoration plan. Apparently they don't like it, and so they came back 2 weeks later, a week or so later, with their plan, which is martial law, which is where we are at today, right? Clearly. So the others promptly gave them about 2 more minutes of their time and said that I am Ground Command and you need to go see Kimberly and Goguen. That's what happened. I've got the full streaming of the meeting for anyone that wants to see it. And
that's very important. So, okay, so they have already gone to the same group. So this is the deep state of planet Earth, which has basically established Space Force, the United States' new secret space, program. But now it's called Space Force. It's not a secret anymore. It's public. And they are running around the world, basically acting as if they're in control of everything. But when they came to the actual Ground Command, with the real technology and the power to actually protect the planet or destroy the planet, they basically said, you need to go talk to Ground Command, which is Kimberly and Goguen. So this has been the state we've been in. Now, they declared like a secret martial law, right? Last March, you said March 21st. And they because if they go through the system to declare martial law like they did, it basically comes back to you. So the access point to release funds so they could wage war on the people, the previous comptroller would have allowed. But they didn't realize, even though you've told them, we've broadcast it, The whole world should know by now, but because they were blocked, they still can't quite accept that you are the ground commander. Is that about all right?
Correct. So there. Okay, so where we're at today is the media virus is going fast and furious, right? Wear masks, lockdown, unlockdown, nothing's really moving. Nobody's still, in a poll globally, on average, 5 out of 10 people state they do not want the vaccine. And now they're trying to force it so you cannot travel without a vaccine. That actually announcement just came out of the UK today. That you must have a medical check. You have to have a test before you leave your country, wherever you're leaving from. Then you have to have a medical check. It doesn't define what that is when you arrive. Right. And then a test 5 days after you arrive, again, in order to be allowed out of quarantine. So the question is, what are they going to give you when you get there? And is your test going to come up positive after that? And then they're going to put you in quarantine camp? Things are moving all over the United States, all over Australia, all over Ireland, all over UK. There's military moving everywhere after December 8th declaration of the Space Force. So who is leading the charge in this global military movement? It would be the Space Force. So whatever deep state characters came out, which would have been, your Black Sun, your CIA, MI6, they're the ones that released the Kuomintang in China. They're the ones that released the COVID, right? The media virus. So media virus has gone out, and now that being said, what's next, right? It's not going fast enough. Nobody wants our stuff. This 5G thing's not working. Trump's trying to say we need to install 5G, all of these things, executive order after executive order this week, all in favor of someone other than us. So where do we sit today? Most recently, the Space Force has announced they're going to try to perpetuate a fake alien invasion on, I believe it is Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, in order to push off the inauguration. Well, the world doesn't revolve around America. America doesn't revolve around the world, contrary to popular belief, okay? But it would have sparked something all around the world. And if they couldn't manage it with their laser light show, also referred to as 9/11, they would have completed another process where all the major media outlets would be reporting on a green screen or with a video playing in the background of something that's not happening. But either way, it's called theater, cinema, which would allow the Space Force then to come out as the saviors of planet Earth, and therefore the new controllers.
So this is the theater of war. For anybody who is new to this, so September 11th, this is a fact. They did use holograms. They did collapse the towers. There was real lives that were lost, but not even close to the reason that they described in the news. It wasn't a terrorist attack. Well, it was a terrorist attack, but it was a terrorist attack from people who sat atop the United States government, right? So that attack was all designed and fabricated, and we know this for an absolute fact because we've actually interviewed people intimately involved with the plan. So it would stand to reason that 20 years after the fact that people would be furious that the United States of America had a terrorist attack on the actual continental United States from our leaders, from the people who were looking to keep us safe. That's the terrifying reality. Now, this same group is what we refer to as the deep state. So now the deep state, they've been at war with us. We just didn't know, right? So now it seems that we're getting into a more formal of the formalities of the abusive state of what it means to be at war with the deep state if you don't know. So they've already deceived us and convinced us that there's a COVID-19 pandemic, right? There's all these necessary things, even though the actual facts don't lend itself to that, right? The actual science doesn't support that. So we've been going through this for the past year. Right now is almost a full year of being in this horrifying COVID-19 state. So finally, we're here. We're trying to go into global martial law. And they think that means they're going to win. They're going to be the heroes with Space Force because they're going to stage a fake alien invasion. So isn't it ironic, or I guess coincidental, that the CIA just released all of this secret information, right, about UFOs, files they've had for years, that over in the UK, that they admitted the SAS has been training with aliens. What do you think the next step is? You know, I feel like it's pretty clear, right? Project Bluebeam. Now you have a fake alien invasion. And what will that do to people? Chaos. People wouldn't even question if you had martial law. Of course, you have martial law. We're being attacked by Martians, right? That's basically what they want to promote. So that's kind of where we're at now. They're building up for this fake invasion.
So, unbeknownst to the Space Force, they have never yet fought a real war. Okay?
Wow. What do you mean?
Even the secret Space Force that we had prior has never, in their entire existence, fought a real war. Ever. So all the generals that they appointed from here and there, you know, now in the face front, have never fought a real war. None of these militaries have ever fought a real war. Not one. So ask yourself, what are they doing now? They're preparing another theater for us all to watch. So they're going to prepare a laser light show, and then a fake attack on probably Washington, D.C. somewhere, because all eyes are watching to see what's going on. And this is what their plan is. And then they're going to swoop in. You know, of course, this will happen everywhere, right? All major cities, there'll be a fake attack, and then they'll come in and protect the world from their own selves.
Right.
So we contacted the other councils and everything last couple of days when we heard about this. And we had a decision to make. So we figure, based on their actions in the last few weeks, right? It's been a little over a month now of the Space Force. Now a little over a year since they've officially declared war against us. We're all walking around with masks, fighting a CNN created something or other, you know, Fox News, Dr. Fauci, something that we're all running from, right? And where are we? You know, who did they declare war against? They declared war against us, the people, and all the inhabitants of this planet. Now, let me explain to you something that's very important to understand if you are watching from the Space Force. And this would be a global Space Force. It's not just American, because they're now giving commands to all the other militaries around the world, which is why you're seeing movement everywhere. Where did you get your technology from? You know, you told the whole world you're working with a higher race of alien beings. It's in the Irish newspaper. It is in the Star paper in Ireland this week that the SAS, the British SAS, Special Forces, is training with the higher aliens. You've told the whole world that if I have a fleet, theirs is better, their other beings or whatever are stronger than I'll ever be as ground command. Well, you forget, okay, number one, that's a lie. That is a flat out lie. We all turned you down. Myself, themselves, and anyone else that has been in the peripheral months ago. No one's working with you except for your lying mouth. If they were, then you wouldn't have been at Mount Shasta trying to repeat the performance of the former founder, Mr. von Braun, of NASA. You wouldn't have been there yesterday. trying to open some gates of hell, which he is very famous for amongst the deep state. And of course, you failed, and your keystone that you chose to open this portal is now dead, right? Nothing opened. You have no help. So you've just lied to every military in the entire planet Earth.
So,
but that doesn't negate.
Go ahead.
That doesn't negate what you have done to us. And that's not just us, okay? That's all of us living here right now, whether we got stuck here or not, in your mess. So go ahead. You had a question?
Okay, so basically, this idea, this is a military force that has actually, at some point, worked with galactic beings that were, or aliens, that lived here with us for a long time. They were enslaved here with us and forced to do things, oftentimes at their behest, because of the previous comptroller who held your position, or the previous ground commander. So now, this same group has not let go of that illusion that they're going to have power. But in reality, it was always designed to actually harvest everyone, to take out the entire planet, including them. So they're still on a path and a track following orders from leaders who are now dead, from beings that are now quarantined in other places, and they're still following the same orders to demolish, destroy, and kill everyone on the planet. And even if they were successful, it wouldn't have a positive outcome. But the technology that they're using, that they think is so advanced, was actually created by ground command and the life force enforcement. It's the same people. And they didn't give them the best technology. Even though they say that they're working with aliens, they gave them they gave them things that would not be able to destroy them. Right? So in other words, these alleged alien beings they're working with, they're not working with them anymore. So they're going to stage an alien attack with things that they could be, like, holograms. They could beat a hologram, right? They could make it look great. Come in with really fast jets and, zap them out of the sky, right? And for all we know, it could be drones that are just killing people. You have no idea. They could stage this any way they want. But they don't have access to the real technology. So it's a suicide mission for them. This is how
the Deep Street. It wouldn't be if you were fighting your own self. Right?
Right?
If you were creating the show and then boom, 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 now Tank, this is the part where, here, let me just send a big punch to you. This is the part where you fall over. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. What a scam. So they're not, so this idea that there's this perennial military force, in reality, every one of these wars that we've had for thousands of years, they've been staged. They've been a way for them to control the population, harvest energy, take over countries. They controlled both sides of every war. So they were fine. We were just used as pawns, the people. So
correct.
Now they're going to try to do the same thing, but I feel like things are a little bit different now.
So they declared global martial law based on a fake war or a war against the people, which we knew nothing about, right?
Right.
So today is fairly momentous. We have approval to issue the following declaration. So since they declared they wanted global martial law, you now have it. Congratulations. We are now officially under global martial law. As I have been since 2016, I am still ground command, and I will be at war with you. So, Life Force Enforcement Unit, our fleet is already in position. We are ready to go. You probably have already seen us. You wanted an alien invasion? You've now got one. Congratulations. This is a declaration of war against the deep state. Today, we are officially declaring war against the deep state. That is the global deep state, not the deep state of America.
So every single organization embedded within the governments, major corporations around the world that has been the scourge of humanity for our entire lifetime and beyond. Right now, Life Force has declared war, or the Ground Command has declared war against the entire deep state. So now we actually have global martial, a need for global martial law, because
Yep.
it's on, basically, what you're telling me. This is the real declaration of war.
That's correct. They have already started biochemical warfare all over the world,
Yep.
right? Biological warfare against us all, every person walking the face of the earth, and apparently a papaya and a goat from Tanzania, right? Don't forget
Everybody,
that.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, everybody. And so they have now wanted to administer further biological weapons against us called vaccines. They have issued microwave 5G radiating towers all over the world, right?
Yes.
And now
Sure.
you're going to declare yourselves in a global war against yourselves. So you can win and be the savior of all humanity.
So useless.
The answer to the question is no. Okay? We, the people, have declared war against you, as well as 36 other races have now declared war against you, the deep state. So I hope to God you have your big boy panties on today, because here we come. We're already started. Our fleet is in position.
That's really amazing. So
Yeah.
This is a war they cannot win. There is no chance. And matter of fact, it's a war that is absolutely necessary for humanity to be free. Because if this does not happen, this is an alliance, right, with the actual people of the planet who want to live, the regular people, not the elite hierarchy who's declared themselves a superior race because they've dedicated their lives to following orders and being average, to controlling, never inventing or creating, to not caring, to exalting evil acts that are anti the actual nature of humanity. So this is humans that are actually human. People that are actually people, with an alliance with those who have more advanced technology, who live here as well, against
Correct.
the global beast. That's absolutely incredible.
So you, your potential entities, and whatever else you brought here that doesn't belong here anymore, that's it. So we'll be running battle operations, real ones, not theater, for as long as it takes, until our enemy is defeated or surrender.
So this this act, in some would say, is long overdue, right? I mean, being that they've been raping and pillaging and destroying the planet, salting the plains of Ethiopia when it was the agricultural hub of Africa, turning jungles into deserts, destroying any semblance we have of our real history, lying to people about who they are, drugging us for years, putting fluoride in the water and GMOs in the food, everything designed to treat people as cattle. So this is really essential to everyone out there listening, whether you believe in these type of things or not. This is the reality. So this is where we're at, and they're going to try to stage a fake war, a fake Martian invasion or alien invasion of some kind. So to stop that from happening, Ground Command has made the move to take them out before they're able to do any more harm. Which, for anybody watching, I'd watch very carefully, because I would imagine things are about to become much more public now. So, wow, that's incredible. That's a big announcement.
Yep.
So, Jim, I would think for this to be accepted and for people to really embrace it, there's going to be certain things that are going to have to become public. Have you thought about this at all yet? I mean, or have you already made this plan, or what are your thoughts?
You know, at this point, I'm letting all of you know, because the next step, once the deep state is completely defeated, okay, there is no Earth Alliance, just so you know. Those people don't exist. Oh, they're defeating the deep state. No, they are the deep state. They're not doing anything. They've never done anything. Your RV hasn't gone anywhere. No one is perpetuating movement of funds anywhere. They are lying again to every central bank in the world, saying that if you declare martial law and allow the militaries to move in your country, that you're going to be a part of this, and a big transfer is supposed to happen on Monday, Tuesday to your country, to your central bank. The answer to the question is no. Why would I fund my enemy? I'm not doing it. So we will fund ourselves officially now that we have declared war against you, our enemy.
So the gloves are off, is basically what you're saying. After years of them suppressing the ability of humanity to thrive, particularly in your case, the past 9 years that you've been working diligently, night and day, trying to bring money into the people as they blocked you, canceled contracts, lied about everything, never once followed through on anything they said they do, been given every opportunity to just do the right thing that would benefit all of us, but instead they chose death. They chose death. They chose to be part of a death cult that worships death, to kill people, to rape children, to murder, and destroy everything beautiful and amazing about the human experience. This is an absolute war where if you wanted to bring humanity together, this would certainly be the way to do it. Maybe people can actually focus on the incredible aspects about ourselves that are the same versus only our differences. So,
okay, so all of you watching this will be responsible when this war is over to sign a real declaration of independence. Okay? So that is not only for United States, because we have something called the Declaration of Independence, right? This is a global declaration of independence that every person is required to sign. And you can have input on that as well. If we miss something, if something's not in there that needs to be included, we would be more than happy to listen. So this will be a job also for all of you to compile as we go through and finish this war. Okay? Part of that, you will declare a peace treaty. So we will be declaring a peace treaty and a unity pact amongst all Earth's inhabitants.
Yeah. Wow.
We will finish this war. We're done. It's been how now everybody's been talking about defeating the deep state. We've waited for you, good military. We've waited for you, good militaries of the world, good agencies of the world, alternative media people, and all you're doing is perpetuating fear. You're telling everybody there was going to be a blackout and no internet today. I will admit my internet's a little shoddy, but that's because I'm far away from my router, not because they cut off the internet. We're all live on the internet. For those of you watching this, we all have internet. There is no blackout. That was all intercepted 2 days ago before you even got started. They said it was supposed to be today, right?
Correct. And so you have one of the ways that the people would have been under attack, because the people have been at war with the deep state. They just didn't know how to fight back. So the deep state told us there's going to be blackouts. There's going to be, the internet's going to be down. Because they couldn't take the internet down, instead they took out platforms, right, that they controlled because those are privately owned. But they couldn't take out the internet nodes. They couldn't do it. They haven't been able to take down the phone lines. Why not? It's not because they haven't been able to do this in the past or they didn't prepare for it. It's because there were arrangements made, intercepted, so it wasn't possible. So that's why we're able to broadcast right now. From what I understand, Kim, the internet is going to be completely secure here very soon. Is that right? And you have that. I know you had some breakthroughs of that.
It's as secure as we could make it. There's now backup at the cable companies if they go down to that level and shutting off the cable companies. We have a backup on that. So even if they shut off there and try to make do blackouts as of about yesterday morning, they shouldn't be able to do that anymore.
Right.
So people will be able to broadcast with their phones and everything else about what's really going on as they try to perpetuate their, I don't know what you want to call them, theater.
Right. So this whole sham is about to come crashing down. So the question is, are people really ready for the reality? Because they are the ones who are prepping people for an alien invasion. And unfortunately, there's going to be some fall off when people realize, well, there is other beings that have lived here with us on this planet for a very long time. And they share this. And if you actually go back into real documents from the government, this is true. They acknowledge this in our own government. I mean, you can find the documents. They're not a secret. There is research.
There's a television show on the History Channel.
Right. So this is a reality. And most other, galactic races, they're not looking for violence. They're not looking to take over and consume us, right? And certainly not ones that we would live with or cohabitate with on this planet. So the ones that we have here, Kim, that are other, that we refer to often as the others, that people will go crazy about this, but this is just true. They're friendly with us, right? There's a peace treaty that already exists.
Well, the CIA said it's true, so it must be true. Right?
Right.
It's got to be true. Well, hell, the CIA said COVID was real, right? And it's real. So,
right.
Anyway, yes, it's true. It's there's movies, television shows about it. In the History Channel, they talk about it. There's many shows on there about ancient aliens and Project Bluebird and all of these. This is all out there. Everybody put it out there. Right?
So, Kim, people are going to melt down when they hear this. They're going to be like, no, all aliens are demons, right? It's going to be the freak out from some people, right? Now, I've known you for a while now, and I can tell everybody out there that Kim's sole mission and purpose is constantly to help people be closer to God and realize that they don't need anyone between them and God, and that God is really operating in you, which, if you look at any Bible or really any religious text, that's always been the point, is to see that you are an expression of God's love, really, right? So we want to make sure to clarify that. With that in mind, you have an omnipotent, omnipotent, omnipresent, omnifarious of all type of God, right? He's the all in all. So with that in mind, it doesn't really oppose any doctrine. It's just that he's so robust, so prolific, and of course we'd have other creations, other groups.
You have to look at it this way. We acknowledge that there are on planet Earth lions, tigers, right? Those would be other races of living beings, right? All created by the same creator, right?
Yep.
So if we have that here, what makes you think there wouldn't be other intelligent life in the multiverse? Of course there is. But we don't worship the cow, right? We don't bow to the cow. We don't bow to the goat, unless you're Hillary Clinton. But we don't, right? We bow only to the Creator, God the Father, right?
That's right.
We don't bow to the Queen. We don't bow to the Tsar. We don't bow to any of these people because they're just people. So what's the difference if they were from another place? They were humans from another location. There's plenty of them. Plenty of planets inhabited by humans. Sorry to say. So it doesn't mean we bow. We don't worship them. They're not all-knowing either. They make just as many mistakes as we do. Daily.
Right.
Give us and them a break, for crying out loud.
Right.
We're all just talking. They put their attire on the same way we put our attire on, you know?
Yep.
So, you know, as far as use military terms, you know, well, I'll leave that out. But anyway, the point is that they asked for global martial law. They would need to declare a war, which has so far been one-sided. Well, we have now declared war back. So that's the purpose of this broadcast today, is to let you know and to prepare yourselves for a real global declaration of independence, which will be required of all of you. We are independent of each other. We are independent of government. We are independent of the deep state. We are independent. That's important, okay? We're not trying to own you. We're not trying to get you to join something. We would obviously like your cooperation as we go forward in this world, sharing technologies around the world, which will make our planet, our home, because we all live in the same house, better. Meaning we all live on the same rock, right? We need to learn how to get off and on this rock without the help of a third-party entity. We need to do a lot of things. So, a global declaration of independence after this war is finished, and a peace treaty and a unity pact amongst us all. The unity pact was proposed by the others, just so you know, to the Space Force, and they rejected it.
Well, what an opportunity. What an opportunity to be sitting at the top of the world, so to speak, in the highest position, and you're offered a unity pact with these same individuals who are literally have been fighting for us for some time, fighting for our freedom as much as their own. I really, that excites me to think about that these malicious characters were so filled with venom and the desire to control and continue in a path that is horrible, that created an opportunity for us to step up and be able to put our own signature on that unity pact. I love that. I really appreciate that.
We anticipate this war to be completed in days. The battle has already begun. Begun hours ago. We are at war with what our people call our waste of space force.
Listen, when you talk to Life Force Enforcement about this, right, could you please ask them to slow things down a little bit to get some shots? Because I'd really like them to do a little, show off a little bit, guys. Don't worry about it. Just, let the world see what you're about. Like, we'd like to be able to show.
We have pictures of our. We do. We have pictures.
We do have
that from
DCI. On the Life Force call. Yep, we'll actually show you the pictures directly from NASA, so it's something you can, understand and appreciate. We'll show you those pictures today on the Life Force call. Everyone who has doubts, where you can actually see what the fleet looks like. And this fleet,
yep.
Unlike the psyops being portrayed by the deep state, these things are actually for you, right? We're actually for you. And if you can't tell that just by the fact that, we were assaulted all the time and just kind of scraping things together, that's an indication. On this world, they have lived like kings at our expense. But fortunately, there's just a few of you that stood up so that we can really make a declaration that humanity is free. So that's very exciting to me.
So we've had questions from a number of oceanic tribes and African kings and South American kings and whatnot, talking about a unity pact and talking about a declaration of independence, but we're now going to declare it globally. Everybody's tired of the deep state people running around their country, creating fake terrorists and fake wars and fake theaters, to which they can play out for the masses. We are not interested anymore.
Oh, I love that. So basically what it comes down to is all the people in all these different countries who've contacted us several times, and they, particularly Poland, I did speak to them a couple of weeks ago, and they were very concerned about this new communist, regime moving in and basically turning everything over that way. you're going to have the opportunity to be part of your own Declaration of Independence. And you're going to be able to stand with every other country the same way as a member of this planet, as a free member of this planet. And then you can still maintain your identity as being Polish as well. And whatever else your nationality is, that applies to everybody. So that's the incredible opportunity to allow humanity to be united, and allowing the things that make us different actually bring us closer together. Because we all know that we want to live well, be safe, have clean food and clean water. We want our kids to be able to grow up and do amazing things. We can all agree on those things. So that's an incredible opportunity. And I have to believe that the others that live here, they probably have similar goals, if they're not exactly the same. Something like that, right? So, all right. This is possible. Anything else you want to touch on before we go?
No, we'll see you shortly.
All right, everybody. Life Force call will be in 42 minutes. We will not start on time. It'll probably start about 4, but you should probably get it now if you can come on the Zoom call. If not, we'll be broadcasting in whatever, definitely on UnitedNetwork.news, and you can check it out on lifeforce.global to get the link. So have a great day, everybody. Stay tuned. It's about to get hot.